Welcome to the channel and a little continuation on this 63 Mercury that we've been working on. This one isn't about the body though. This is yet another question. Up to this point, it's mostly been about inquisitive things, things that are interesting. Of course, the wheel tubs were a little bit of a surprise, but some of the other things that really weren't a big deal as we've been taking this car apart. Someone mentioned after we got the frame out from under the car that we may not be very impressed with some of the welds that are on the bottom of the car. And we've actually reached the point now that the frame has been sandblasted and we got a coat of primer on it. And I can't even really remark because the quality of the welds on this is just really bad. I'm not a welder by trade. I'm a mechanic by trade, but I've done a lot of welding in my time as well. We took apart A bodies and G body GM cars for years and built race cars out of them. Of course, we boxed the frames, and many spots we re-welded the factory welds because they were a little minuscule compared to what we were about to put the cars through for racing. But this, I gotta say, maybe some of the worst work I've ever seen. I'm going to flip this so you can actually see the frame itself, and I'll just kind of do a walk around. But man, if you know anything about welding, I'm pretty sure just about every rule of the do's and don'ts was broken as this was done. So I'll turn it so you can have a look. So this is one of the first spots. So you can see the frame's blasted, and we have a coat of etching primer on it to help keep it from rusting after we got it back. But here's the first example right here. So this is the front spring perch, and as you can see, the weld never held. The penetration on this side of the frame was very minimal, and the bracket actually came away from the frame here. Of course, as you go along, you'll see there's a lot of porosity, in the welds as well that, as we know, of course, don't make for very good quality welds. Here's the other side of the bracket, and you can certainly see that I wouldn't call that a very good weld. We have some corrosion and stuff, and that is by all means not anyone's fault other than fatigue over time. But here's the seam welds that pull the two halves of frame channels together. Now, as you can see, as I get further up here with my finger, this is a giant gap of nothingness. Some of it is rot on the inside, but a lot of this is just failed weld. I'm going to get on the other side of it so you can see. So here's that continuation of weld right here. There you go. Now you can see. But there is such a stretch where the welds pretty much didn't do very much at all. And we're not sure if they never actually got the two channels to come together neatly in the first place, but they certainly didn't stay together over time. And here's the continuation of the frame heading to the front, so down to your front clip. But you can see, it's sure, we know this was done by hand and, probably on the fly, but this is some pretty messy stuff. And I mean, it even has blow-through marks in spots as well. Again, this looks like it was actually welded fairly decently, I would say. But the other side is actually the worst side. So I'm not sure what Joe was doing on the other side, on his side of the line, but as you can see, this is just some horrendous welding all the way along. And of course, separation because the welds weren't completed. And it just, nothing about that could be complimented. The X-frame, everywhere we looked, has been welded in quite decently, like the contacts have remained. Again, there's a little bit of spattery going on in there. The main components are actually welded together pretty decent like. I'm not here to bash on Ford, but by the standards. When I had to write safeties on buses and transport trucks and everything, I would have definitely questioned this work. You know, I don't know if it just snuck through quality control or Joe had a bad Friday or what it was, but in my mind, as a professional, it's pretty sad work. So on top of all the repair work we have to do on this frame, we'll also be having to do some re-welding because, of course, the two halves really aren't mated anymore. So I can't really let you off the hook on this one, Ford, because this is some sloppy work and really not all that safe in my opinion. So thanks for watching, and we're nearing the end of what's left to take apart on this car. We still have an issue with registration, and that has taken yet another turn, but we'll be working on that, and I'm sure you'll see us back before too long with some more stuff with the Monterey, because we're making strides anyways. So have a good day.